Hello, it's lovely to be with you again on Friday, the 20th of November 2020, and I hope that you are all surviving the current lockdown restrictions. Those of you that know me will know that I'm not really a great fan of Christmas, and so it might surprise you that I have chosen today to talk about Advent calendars, with, I am delighted to say, the help of my eldest daughter Rosie. It was not until I decided to talk about this today that I learnt that Advent calendars are a relatively modern idea. But first, let's think about the word Advent and its season. This year, Advent begins on Sunday the 29th of November and lasts as usual right the way up until midnight on Christmas Eve. The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, meaning coming or arrival. In the Christian calendar, Advent marks the approach to Christmas, the coming of Jesus Christ on earth 2,000 years ago as a baby in Bethlehem, known as the first Advent. Although for many in today's consumer society it represents the joy of spending money on gifts for loved ones, or conversely, the worry and depression of having no money to spend on gifts for loved ones. For the children and young people trying to navigate this confusing season, and even more so in this year, it can mean either the wonderful expectation of gifts arriving or the woeful acceptance that there will be little, if anything, to unwrap. However, Christians believe that the season of Advent also looks forward to the return of Christ in his second Advent, so in the future. Advent is not just about marking an historic event. It is also a celebration of God's revelation of himself through Jesus, the coming King. I suggest we are therefore living in between the first and second Advents. During the season of Advent, should we, as Christians, focus on both the past and the future, affirming that Jesus entered our history 2,000 years ago, and the belief that he will come again to bring justice, universal peace, and righteousness. Traditionally, Advent was a time when believers cut back on eating and drinking, prayed more, and thought about the coming of Jesus as a baby. Doing this meant that by the time people got to Christmas, they probably enjoyed the festivities even more. It was with these thoughts in mind that as a single parent of 5 children on a very limited income, I wanted, some 10, maybe 12 years ago, to make a more meaningful Christmas experience for my children. I had always been against Advent calendars with sweets and chocolates in, but had been forced into submission by grandparents and other friends who had often bought them for my children. I did, however, try to turn this into a positive. We would open the calendars at the table after tea as a family and talk about why we had an Advent calendar. On reflection, maybe they just went with the flow to get the sweet. We have had a number of children's Advent calendars over the years, and 2 of my favourites are this book Advent calendar here, which opens out like a book, like that, and inside there are 24 little books, each one telling part of the Christmas story. And we would open this, yeah, that's right, at the dinner table, and somebody would read the story inside. So there's a little story inside there like that. And then we would make a beautiful display of them. Another Advent calendar that we had when the children were little, and we still have, although I've sadly discovered there are some parts missing today, is this Velcro Advent calendar. And you'll see all the Christmas characters here along the bottom. And I don't know if you can see, but there are Velcro places there all over to make up the nativity scene. So that's another one of my favourite ones. I also have a very special book advent calendar that was given to me by the delightful mother of my best friend. And as you can see, it's in German. And as you open it, it says 24 literarische Gute-Nachts-Geschichten für den Advent. 24 literary good night stories for Advent. And as you open it up inside, unfortunately one of the pages is falling out, but as you open it up inside, you will see each day has its own story. Now this one I've left not undone because you will notice that you can't actually see the story, and then you turn and then there's the next day. You have to split that open. Okay, so those are some of my favourite advent calendars. Somehow, and I have not really got any idea how, the idea came to me to make advent calendars that include tasks and not just sweets. I would write little tasks for the children to do, like make a Christmas card for a neighbour, buy food for the food bank, go for a walk and collect greenery to decorate the house, make a table decoration together, okay? So that was always focused on doing something together for somebody else. Or even maybe read your favourite Christmas poem to the family. I used to really like that one. This has now become a bit of a family tradition, and Rosie takes up the story for me.
Hi guys, my name's Rosie. I'm Michelle's oldest daughter, or her favourite daughter, depending on who you ask. And she's asked me today to talk to you a little bit about advent calendars. So every year I make advent calendars for my 3 brothers, my sister and my mum. Mum helps me with some of them, obviously not her own because that would just be silly. And now I do this because for me it's my way of showing them that I love you, I care about you, and I'm thinking about you even if I'm not there with you. So that's kind of why I do it and why I enjoy doing it. And normally I start thinking about it August, September time, depending. And if I see things, I'll pick them up and put them in. So in the advent calendars, we put tasks in, so they're little things to do. For example, one year, one of the tasks I gave for my mum was to give this chocolate to somebody that you don't normally talk to or you don't really get on with, because the whole Christmas season is about unity and being together and being kind, and that's something that she can do for somebody that just cheers them up, gives a little bit of happiness during the day, which I think we all need, especially this year. I think we need a lot more of that. So I give them little tasks like that. Sometimes it's just as easy as putting some money in a charity box, but although some years, I mean, some tasks that I've been given is to like give some money to charity, donate to a food bank, things that do good for other people. We also put fun stuff in there. So for my sister one year, I put a Santa Claus toilet seat cover because I thought it was funny, and I think sometimes you just need something a little bit silly to, you know, break it up. Obviously also we put chocolates in there because everybody loves a bit of chocolate, and you know the advent calendars that most of you probably get do have chocolates in. So you know I can't not give you something nice, a little treat. I also try and put personalised things in the advent calendars. Maybe it's something that I've spoken to that person about, something that connects us together, something we've done together. Sometimes it's a picture. Sometimes I put wine in for my brothers because they like wine and I know what ones they like, so I see one that I know they'll like, I'll put that in. I also putting in books and things, so like this year's one of my brothers is getting a copy of this, which I actually got from my mum in an advent calendar one year, and she wrote in it for me. So we've done that for my brother, and it's a St. Nicholas, it's a Christmas story, and it's to read every year on the 5th of December. So my brothers have got that. It's for him, because he's now at a stage where he's progressing in his life, he's kind of settling down. I thought it would be good for him, well, me and my mum thought it would be good for him to have something to carry on with his life, a tradition for him to start and carry on through the rest of his life. We design them in different ways. So I'm going to show you some of the ones I've done this year, seeing as they're here. So this one I don't know if you can see it. It's not got all of them on yet. It's not quite finished, but you can see different sizes, different types of presents and things, different tasks and things on this one that I don't know if you can see, but they're numbered. I think you might be able to see that it's a number 8 on this one. And so on that specific day, they'll open this specific one. So that's one of the ones I've done. And I've also done some in little Christmas boxes. Well, they're not that little, so like this. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you without everything falling out, but inside they've got all of their things and they can pick out one each day. It smells quite nice because there's chocolates in there. So those are the things that I do for Christmas for everybody, and I like doing it because it is a nice way for me to show everybody that I care about them.
So as you can see, we have tried to harness the sense of love and care, not just for our families, but also for the wider community with these calendars. It is now possible to buy advent calendars of all shapes, sizes, varieties, prices. And I struggle to see the relevance of a wine, gin, or even a nail varnish advent calendar. I can't help but wonder in this time of global change whether we should turn our gaze back 100 years or so to the beginning of the 19th century. At this time, there was a tradition in Germany for Christians to put chalk marks on the doors of their houses, starting on the 1st of December and continuing to add a mark every day until Christmas Day. The idea was that each time people entered the house, they would be reminded that God sent Jesus to the world at Christmas. As time went on, some families began to light a candle each day starting on the 1st of December. And that's something that we always do in our family, and this is our advent candle getting ready for next week. A man called Gerhard Lang is usually credited with the design of the modern-day advent calendar. In 1908, Lang made 30 designs of his advent calendar, and these calendars were made of 2 layers of card, with the top layer having 24 small doors cut into it so that a door could be opened daily. And they had a mixture of religious and non-religious pictures. At around this time, a religious advent calendar was also made, which had Bible verses rather than a picture behind each door. During the Second World War, as with a lot of things, advent calendars all but disappeared. But a man called Richard Selmer from Stuttgart in Germany reintroduced them after the war, and they very quickly became popular again. So as we go about our preparations for Advent and Christmas, I would encourage you to think why. Why am I doing or buying this? How? How does this fit into our place as Christians in between the first and second Advent? Can I do this differently? Thank you for being with me today, and I hope you are continuing to enjoy all Avon Valley Church's online offerings, including the services, Saturday conversations, regular contributions to Thought for the Day, and not forgetting, of course, the huge variety of content on the Youth, Children and Families page. Until the next time I pop up on your screens, or hopefully see you in person, keep safe and God bless you all.